So a common mistake I see with print-on-demand shops that are selling t-shirts and sweatshirts, I literally just saw this mistake today, is that you are not placing the graphics correctly. We're gonna correct this because at the end of the day, you want your customer to have a flattering look because that's how you get repeat buyers. So if we head over to Printify's design guide, you should know that for the majority of printers, they are going to scale down your design so that it appears correctly on smaller sizes, but they will not scale the design up for sizes above a large, and that the distance from the collar stays the same no matter the size of the shirt. So before we go to Printify, I just want to show you this little guide that I created. So I drew a line from an inch away from each collar or two down to the bottom. And then I also drew a line from the armpit to the armpit. So a good rule of thumb is to keep the focal point or the majority of your graphics in this top area. So the reason why we have spaced this out an inch or two is because, as I mentioned, yes, the majority of printers will size down the graphics for smaller sizes, but from a large up, they will not. And when you see graphics on t-shirts in real life, you will note that the more flattering, natural looking designs are typically as wide as the collar because it kind of frames the neck and then up into the face. Where anything kind of wider than that, you're going to lose some of the graphics kind of in the armpit or around the body. So once you select a product from the catalog, it's important to scroll down to the bottom on the right-hand side and make sure that you are sizing your canvas to the recommended size for that product. So I'm just going to create a new canvas in Canva. So then you'll want to download your design when you're happy with it. So here we see my graphic uploaded in Printify, and it is centered because it was centered on the canvas. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They will take their graphic and they will just scoot it up a little bit to what they think looks good. But this is why it's so important to use their preview mockup generator. Now, if we look at the flat lay and some of the male models, we might say this looks fine. But if you are designing for a woman's t-shirt, you definitely want to take a look at those as well. And as we can see, the graphic is just placed too low, and this is not flattering for the female form. In addition, this design is a little too wide and it's wrapping around the side, so we need to go and correct that. So being mindful of the collar at the sides and the armpit line, we just want to move this graphic up and really make sure that the majority of the graphic is falling above that imaginary armpit line. Then we also want to look at the collar line, and we're going to want to make this graphic slightly smaller. And now we can see that the graphic is placed in a more flattering area that flatters the form and that we're not losing any of the important graphics on the sides. And it's these subtle details that take your products from okay to bestsellers. So let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you and if you have been making the mistake of misplacing graphics, and if you have any additional questions on how to design for other Printify products, just drop the product name below in the comments.